Oats are one of those foods almost everyone trusts without question. They're simple, familiar, and constantly recommended as a healthy choice. So most people assume that just eating oats is enough. A bowl in the morning feels like a good decision, something that should automatically support your health. But here's where things quietly start to go wrong. Eating oats is not the same as eating them in the healthiest way, and that difference changes how your body responds far more than most people realize. The reason this matters is because oats are not just one thing. The way they're processed, prepared, and combined determines whether they actually deliver the benefits people expect. And once you look closer, it becomes clear that many people are eating oats in a way that limits those benefits without even noticing it. The first place this shows up is in the type of oats being used. Steel-cut oats, rolled oats, and instant oats all come from the same grain, but they behave very differently once you eat them. Less processed oats keep more of their original structure, which slows digestion and leads to a more gradual release of energy. That slower process helps you stay full longer and keeps your energy more stable. On the other hand, more processed oats, especially instant versions, are broken down to cook quickly. That convenience comes with a trade-off. They digest faster, which can lead to quicker energy spikes, followed by drops that bring hunger back sooner than expected. This is why 2 bowls of oats can feel completely different, even if they look similar. And it's also where many people unknowingly make their first mistake by choosing convenience over structure. But the type of oats is only part of the picture. What you add to them plays an equally important role, and this is where oats often lose their advantage. Many oat-based meals are built around sweetness. Flavored packets, added sugars, syrups, or processed toppings turn something that should be balanced into something that behaves more like a quick source of sugar. This creates a subtle but important shift. Instead of providing steady energy, the meal becomes something that your body processes quickly. Instead of keeping you full, it shortens the time before you feel hungry again. And over time, that pattern works against the reason people choose oats in the first place. This is why plain oats matter more than most people think. Starting with plain, unsweetened oats allows you to control what goes into the meal, instead of relying on pre-flavored options that often include unnecessary sugars. It also creates a foundation that can be built in a way that supports your body rather than working against it. And this is where the healthiest approach becomes clearer. Oats on their own are mostly carbohydrates. While those carbohydrates can be beneficial, they work best when they are balanced with protein and healthy fats. Without that balance, even a healthy food can become less effective at keeping you full and supporting stable energy. Adding protein or fats changes how your body processes the entire meal. Digestion slows down, energy becomes more consistent, and you stay satisfied for longer. This can be done in simple ways. Adding yogurt, milk, nuts, or seeds turns oats into a more complete meal. Instead of a quick rise and fall in energy, you get a more gradual and steady response. And once you understand this, another important detail starts to stand out. Preparation matters. How oats are prepared can influence how your body responds to them. Cooking methods, soaking, and even the texture of the oats can all affect digestion. For example, soaking oats, like in overnight oats, can make them easier to digest and change how your body processes the meal. This doesn't make them automatically better in every situation, but it shows that preparation is not just about convenience. It's part of how the food interacts with your body. There's also another factor that often gets overlooked: portion and balance. Even healthy foods can become less effective if the portion is too large or if the meal is built around one nutrient. A bowl that is heavily focused on carbohydrates without enough protein or fat can still lead to quicker hunger, even if the food itself is considered healthy. Balancing the portion with other nutrients creates a more stable and satisfying result. This brings everything back to a key idea that most people miss. It's not just about eating healthy foods, it's about how those foods are used. Oats contain a type of soluble fiber that helps slow digestion and supports how your body manages energy and fullness. This is one of the main reasons they are associated with lasting satiety and long-term health benefits. But just like everything else, that benefit depends on how the oats are handled. The more processed they are, and the more they are combined with added sugars, the less effective that fiber becomes. So now the pattern becomes clear. The healthiest way to eat oats is not about adding more complexity. It's about preserving what makes them effective and avoiding the things that reduce their impact. Choosing less processed oats, starting with plain versions instead of flavored ones, balancing them with protein and fats, and paying attention to preparation all work together to create a better outcome. And this is where most people start to notice a difference. Meals last longer, energy feels more stable, hunger becomes more predictable. These changes don't happen all at once, but they build over time. And that's what makes them meaningful. Because your body doesn't respond to one meal, it responds to patterns. When oats are eaten regularly in a balanced way, they support a more stable rhythm. But when they're eaten in a way that leads to quick digestion and short-lived energy, those benefits don't fully appear. There's also something important about flexibility that makes oats easier to stick with than many other foods. They can be adapted in different ways without losing their benefits. They don't have to be sweet, and they don't have to follow a single formula. This flexibility makes them easier to include in your routine, which is what actually allows their benefits to show over time. Because the most effective approach is not the most perfect one. It's the one you can repeat consistently. And that's where oats stand out when they're used correctly. They're simple, adaptable, and effective, but only if they're prepared in a way that supports your body instead of working against it. So instead of asking whether oats are healthy, the better question becomes this: are you eating them in the way that makes them most effective? Because once you understand that difference, everything starts to change. You stop focusing on the label and start paying attention to the result. You notice which meals keep you full, which ones give you steady energy, and which ones leave you needing something more. And that awareness is what actually improves how you eat. Because something can be considered healthy, but if it's not working for your body the way you expect, then something needs to be adjusted. And often, that adjustment is much simpler than people think. If you want more content that breaks down simple foods like this in a way that actually helps you use them better, instead of just telling you they're healthy, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Because the difference between something that sounds healthy and something that actually works usually comes down to the details most people overlook.